What's up, Gangalicious? Today we're back in another video. Today we're going to be learning how to make the Dveight Spas High-Tech Flip bass.
Anyways, I know some of you do not like that I promote my sample pack for 1 whole minute, which, I understand that completely. So, with that being said...
My samples are 50% off, discounted, so if y'all want to go check that out... But that's it. I'm not gonna spend more time talking about it because people finna get mad. So we first have a raw base. It's just a pigments base, like just a little square. And let me open that patch up real quick for you. So this is the pigments patch. It's nothing really special, I guess. We have an additive int 2. We're modulating the third envelope, which is this one, to the position, so it's just going straight up. So this patch is literally this envelope on the position of the wavetable, and then the envelope, just like the actual master envelope. That's how it is. It's just very stabby and sweepy. So it's your basic square 4 bass, I guess. It doesn't really sound like it, but it's got the characteristics of the square 4 bass, I guess. Anyways, there's just multi-band compression on it. Fatten it up a little bit. But that's all. That's literally just the patch. There's nothing else added. Where this gets interesting are the post-processing. Immediately, okay? Immediately, this sound is going to change as I increase the dry wet of this vocoder. This is without it. This is with it. This is the fruity vocoder, not to be mistaken by vocodex. This is a stock one. And I have the frequency all the way up. And the scale, the scale is kind of just like another pitch knob, I guess. But it also does some bandwidth stuff as you increase it. So that's why I increased it a little bit. Bandwidth is down to 3%, but that's only because we have 128 bands. All that really counts is the fact that we have 128 bands, because you're not going to get much of a resonance. So, after we have this, we have, ignore these fruity delays. I was testing some things out. Fruity fast distortion. I try to keep it stock on FL because just it's better that way, isn't it? Some fruity fast distortion. I can't remember what I actually messed with, but it's wave shaping it ever so slightly. It's not doing anything almost. It's just increasing the dynamics. And then we have multi-band compressor. The gain is cranked up, but the settings are stock settings. Nothing was changed. And then, very important, fruity reverb. So I have the size and decay. Where's the decay? I have the size and decay all the way down. So we're just getting the width and room. But that's the post-processing for this sound. There's also an Edison on the master because I recorded all of this. Just me messing with the frequency and these knobs. And I recorded it into a jam session. And this is where we're going to switch DAWs, okay? This is the second half. So here we are in Ableton, and this is what you heard at the start of the video. So, yeah, let me just break it down, I guess. So, first of all, let's take a look at the dry basses. So, I recorded from FL Studio on Edison just multiple hits. And that's just me messing around with the vocoder settings. And I just chopped it up into, just a random little funny flow. I know it sounds really choppy, but this is really important why we have post-processing on this. Get into that right now. So first of all, we have these 3 devices. Of course, you can already see it's an EQ and a snap heap and a saturator, which is nothing special, but this is just to fatten up the sound with the sub, because without this like distortion, you're not gonna like have the sub glued, which, you know, is pretty important. So this is the sub. And without this rack on this like group, like, come on, that's just so much like, as you can see, it's important. So we're barely increasing the highs. That's just because I wanted to glue it all together, especially with this sound, because I didn't really EQ it in FL. So I did all the EQing and post-processing in Ableton. And then I have a snap heap with the saturator on. This is just my normal snap heap rack, saturator with some drive, a little bit of buzz, turning the mix down a little bit to level it out, and then some spread distortion, as you can see here, obviously. Yeah, nah, it's the usual settings, nothing's fiddled with too much. We have the saturator, which is being, for some reason, automated, which we do not want to do because, well, I mean, why? We have a saturator. I'm turning the drive up 7 decibels, which is being turned back down 4 decibels. So we're still getting that distortion. And then, of course, a dry wet to level it out and kind of meet in the middle. We have it, well, in the middle. So that's that rack. And then, of course, we always have my, like, crunch and beef rack. This is in my pack if you want to get it. I have tons of racks like this. I'm mixing stuff. Huge difference, obviously. I normally have a snap heap, but I turned that off for this. So yeah, let's get into the post-processing of this sound already, because I've been going about this way too much. Remember, this is what we have, like the dry basses. Very choppy. First of all, I'm also lacking highs, so this is a good trick if you're ever lacking highs on your like layers or basses. I have the bits down to 5 and then the dry wet down to 55 just to level it out. So that's giving us some more high-end signal. And it's also crunching it up a little bit, which, of course, dude. We have a frequency shifter, which it's barely doing anything. Anyways, let's just keep it like that. So there was a frequency shifter on it. I would still recommend building the rack with a frequency shifter on it, just in case you want to like mess around with the timbres. Then we have a delay on this, and I'm not quite sure why I have a delay. Oh, so this is a good trick for basses. If you're feeling it lacks movement or it's empty, put a delay on your layers. Preferably stuff with like almost no low end. Put a delay on it, turn the feedback down, so you're only getting kind of like 2 shots every time the signal hits. And then you turn the dry wet all the way down, because after all the distortion we're doing, it's going to be super loud. But yeah, ping pong mode for that stereo delay. But yeah, after that we have perfect room. As you can see, it's also making it louder because I have the output turned up plus 7 decibels. And the mix is down to, 40% because I'm already turning this up. Anyways, yeah, 40% on the mix, plus 7 decibels on the output. Just cutting the lows, really, because sometimes reverbs, especially perfect room because it's a convolution reverb, sometimes, I'm not saying all the times, it depends on the impulse response, but if the impulse response has low end frequencies, then that's also going to cause low end signal in the actual thing you are playing. So we always just have an EQ to even so, just for like, because if you didn't know, doing this removes phasing issues. I believe I broke that down in my last video, the Sizzy tutorial. Erosion. I'm not really doing much with the erosion. I'm just causing a little bit more high-end signal. I have the amount just less than 30% should be fine. The width, kind of keep it within this range and not like go anywhere below that, because then it's just going to be a little too much. And then here I have a saturator, which should have soft clip on. I don't know why I don't have that on. But there's a soft clipper on it to stop it from clipping, of course. And I'm just distorting it here. And then after that, we have an EQ cutting out the lows from the distortion. Because if you didn't know, saturation or distortion or overdrive causes low end signal. EQing out all that mud is very important. So that's what we have, and I shall get into the sub. So this is our sub. It's just an operator. We barely have a saw, but like don't even copy that because like you can't, there's no difference. I'm just gonna leave it there for the sake of preserving it. I don't know why. OCD. Yeah, we have the envelope up 50.1 milliseconds, and then the decay. So the decay being 8.61 milliseconds and further is very important, especially if you're working with basses that like, or flows that like stop. This is just to let it ring out, and also to prevent clicking in your subs. And then we have a delay, which for some reason is at 82%, which is funny. But we have the feedback all the way down, and the time is around 19%, so 19.2 milliseconds, which is like the ideal kind of like syncopation, I guess. Anywhere from like 20 to 30 is like pretty good. And then we have an EQ, like I'm not even doing it. I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing. And then we have some of my samples, some of my like ambient samples, just for the background. By the way, these do not have lows in it. My mixing rack just fattens the lows up a little too much, but as you can clearly hear, it's necessary. So so yeah, that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's how to make the high-tech space bass. Anyways, appreciate you, gang. I appreciate the support so far. It's been helping me out a lot with my situation. Again, I'm not gonna go on about my sample packs for an entire minute, but they are available if you want to. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.